afternoon. So I was miles away then. I started the stream and then I got into analysing my backtest results and yeah, completely forgot I was on stream. How are you all doing? Sorry, let me just do this quickly. So I'm going to quickly run this test. 1 second. I want to verify these results because it looks quite good. I'll be with you in a minute. Yeah, okay. Thought it was too good to be true. Lucky wins. Sometimes when you do a back test, this is why robustness testing is so important. Sometimes when you do a back test, you catch what's known as outliers, basically. So this is the equity curve over 4 years for this strategy I'm just testing. There's a whacking great outlier there which made a fortune. There's a whacking great outlier there which made a fortune. Another one there which made a bit. But this is pretty stable up until that point. Then it stagnated. But this is all stagnation. Look. So you got a backtest result here that has generated $61,000 in 4 years. But the vast majority of that profit was made up of 2 trades and a lucky year. So while it might look good on paper, 19k drawdown for a 61k return, not great, not too bad. It's actually down to 2 lucky trades, really, that dug it out the crap, so to speak. So yeah, interesting. Might look at some other results on that. It's an interesting test I'm just doing. This is a test based on propulsion gap mean reversion, which I'm testing. So basically what it's doing is it's when we get a propulsion gap like that one or like that one, basically what it does is it mean reverts the propulsion gap. So the idea obviously being that we either test it and run, or it becomes an A-shaped recovery, which is what it does for the vast majority of the time. So as soon as we get a propulsion gap, we start shorting it into the propulsion gap. But this is on the hourly time frame. It'll probably work way better on 4 hour. No, it doesn't actually. There you go. Anyway, I'll carry on that later rather than waste your time while I'm on stream. How is everybody doing? Afternoon, Danny, Mumo. Hola a todos. Don't know what that means. Shouldn't repeat stuff that I just see in chat, should I really? Afternoon, Fletch, George, Callum, Paul, Mark, Virginia, Matt, Dev, George. How are we doing? So, this afternoon is manufacturing PMIs. Forecast for 3 o'clock. Expecting those to go up. Potentially a bullish move coming on the US dollar this afternoon. It's quite a mediocre forecast. It's a 46.8 forecasting a 47.5. So they're forecasting a 0.7 increase. So this is still, however, below the line. So with PMI figures, there's a 50 line. It's a bit like an oscillator. Anything above the line is deemed expansion in the economy. Anything below the line is deemed contraction in the economy, i.e. recessionary. Even though we're expecting a tick up, it's still not good at the moment in the US for manufacturing. So that's coming out at 3 o'clock. This morning, we had the Swiss CPIs came out negative. I don't think this is really negative for the Swiss. We were at negative 0.2. We were forecasting a 0.1 and we got a 0. So basically, inflation hasn't changed, which most of the market will see as being stable. So as you can see from the Swiss pairs, we've had some movement on the Swiss pairs today, actually. But this is partly to do, I think, with yen movement as well. So the Swiss franc has powered up today off the back of those figures. Aussie dollar Swiss just hit 125 ADR. Good timing. CAD Swiss powered up, so everything's powered up. But if you look at the yen pairs, there's been a massive rally into the yen today. So whenever you get any strength in the yen, you tend to get strength in the Swissy. So I don't think this is necessarily to do with the news this morning. If you look at when this move actually started there, it was at 6 o'clock this morning, which is 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And if you look at when the yen movement started, the Swiss movement started shortly after that yen movement. So I'm not convinced this is to do with the actual Swiss franc news this morning, but stability for the Swissy this morning. Where's my browser all the way up there? Been playing around with my window. So yeah, so that's all we got coming up this afternoon, and obviously that's what we've had this morning. Tomorrow morning we've got GDP for the Australian dollar. That's coming out overnight. So potential movement on the Aussie. We're forecast to go up. If we do get that, it'll be bullish. So we'll see where we go from there. Morning, Ryan. Afternoon, even Crump. So that's your news for today. Market opens in 7 minutes. This morning's moves on the DAX. It was a double hedge for me this morning. I got out of both way too early on that. Footsie. Wasn't expecting an ADR hit on either of these today, but we got it. So this morning on the DAX, we broke to the upside to 2R. And basically, that was a load of high confluence. So if you look at the hourly chart on the DAX, it was this level here, which we've tapped into twice. We pushed above that this morning and we closed at the open below that level or at that level. So then we started to break down. So basically this morning's trade on the DAX was a long. As you can see, as soon as the short triggered there, I exited the long position because this is a rejection of the highs. And then obviously it flushed short. So I got out down here, banked £260. FTSE, I did the same thing. FTSE was a rejection to the upside. So FTSE was this propulsion gap. So this was a structure short. We broke up, rejected. So I did the same thing on the FTSE a little bit later, actually. So I triggered the short on the FTSE. Ooh, way back here, look. And then we broke that level there. So I closed the longs and was expecting that to continue down. I got out there with about £130 loss just so that I was up on the morning, and it absolutely screamed down. So as soon as I got out, it accelerated. But yeah, 6R, 7R today, straight down into ADR, didn't stop. So big flushes on both indices this morning. NASDAQ, Dow, and S&P. We've had a similar sort of move. I don't know why that's on 15-minute. So we've had a similar sort of move today on all three indices. It's been a down day. It's getting a little bit stuck at these highs at the moment. Not really able to make any progress, as you can see, the S&P for a bit. So it'd be interesting to see where these go today. There's plenty of downside to ADR. Just scroll out on the Dow so we can see it. So you got plenty of downside down to ADR from the open on all of them. Upside we've tested, obviously, again and rejected today. NASDAQ's the same thing. The Dow rejected yesterday. Didn't get anywhere yesterday, but this morning obviously is rejecting away. So it looks like the indices all want to sell off. If we get those positive PMI figures come out at 3 o'clock, that's going to rally the US dollar. If the US dollar rallies, the indices will probably take some pressure and drop a little bit more as well. So obviously the PMIs don't come out till 3 o'clock. Market's opening in 4 minutes. So we've got half an hour. So the danger today is that the market sits around and waits for the PMI figures, which means if you're running SIH, there's potential for hedging. And if you're running the opening range breakout, there's potential for multiple stop outs before the move actually gets underway at 3 o'clock. So up to you what you want to do. I'm just going to trade as normal, but there's an argument for waiting until 3. But the European indices obviously sold off very, very fast today. Other news from this morning, not really any. So there's your CPI figures for the Swiss this morning. Overnight, there was talk out of Japan. So I suspect a lot of what was said last night by Suzuki, I think it was Hayashi was speaking as well. Yeah. Was it? I can't remember. Yeah, something. Talking heads anyway. But yeah, so basically that may well have been to do with the move into the yen and the Swiss. The other thing that's happened overnight is we in the UK have withdrawn support for Israel. So basically we've stopped supplying arms to Israel, which is in a way a sanction on Israel, basically saying we don't like what you're doing. Obviously, that is potentially another flashpoint in what is going on over there. So we need to be a little careful, which is why I'm sort of thinking this may be a safe haven run that we're seeing happening today. It's not so much escalation, but it's not de-escalation, is it, in the conflict over there? So allies pulling out, supporting Israel isn't good. We've got some NATO members that aren't very happy with us as well. But anyway, not our decision, not my decision. So as you can see, 150 ADRs on some of these. New Zealand dollar and Aussie dollar have been very weak today. Sorry, very strong as well. And weak. Just a lot of movement, basically. CAD Swiss, 125 ADR as well. So if you look at the ADRs, there's a hell of a lot of movement today. Aussie yen, 175 ADR. I'm still not trading the yen. This is a lovely long. I don't want to take any trades on the yen, but 175 ADR is a very, very good opportunity for a long. The thing you've got to be aware of is tomorrow morning you've got the GDP figures coming out. They're forecast to increase, which is obviously going to power up the Aussie. So if you do get that positive GDP overnight, that could easily be a V-shaped recovery back up to here by the end of the morning tomorrow. So very good opportunity for a long on the Aussie yen. I've got short exposure at the moment, New Zealand and Aussie. So it doesn't kind of fit with my portfolio, but that is the one that I would like to take. Failing that, the New Zealand dollar yen, obviously. Both really good opportunities for long. So 5-minute reversal alerts you've already had down at 150 ADR down here on the New Zealand dollar yen, and it's holding. So this low is holding very, very nicely. So look for a pullback into propulsion on these. So you've got an ADR of movement before we come up and retest this level. So if this is going to shift bearish on that reversal, you're looking for a new down leg to start there. So nice quick mean reversion trade up into there and then possibly flip short when we get there. So lots of ADRs there today. Market's just open. Let's watch that and then we'll come back. Whoa, Nasdaq sold off fast there. Dow's broken upside long very, very quick as well. S&P can't really make its mind up. Wow, a lot of volatility coming in today. So 3R target to the downside on the NAS is ADR. Wow, that's quick. Again, broken opposite directions. Afternoon, AZ. So we'll see where these go quickly. Then we'll have a look at the ADRs and RSIs on Forex. So barring that candle today, this is higher day on the Dow, or high of Globex really. So if it is going to break long, probably going to find resistance there. So I'm just moving my TP down ever so slightly, probably to just under 3R. A lot of volume coming in today. Very jumpy. So not really a lot of movement on the US at the open. So if this does sell off today, if both markets sell off, it'll be the same as on the FTSE and the DAX this morning. Hopefully that will come down to target. That'll pay for the hedge on this one and lock the profit in. But we've broken in both directions. So see who's going to be the winner today. S&P's selling off as well. So downside support on the S&P is just beyond ADR. And then we've got the wicks at 125. So that area there is going to be supportive on the S&P today. Upside, obviously, be the propulsion move from this morning. But doesn't look like it's going to get long, does it? We'll see. Just wait for this 5-minute opening range to go in. So the 5-minute opening range today on the NASDAQ, very big. You're looking at 70 points, which is above 20% of ADR. So not the sort of range I'd like to take a break on. The Dow, you've got 74. Again, 20% of the, that's way over that now. 20% of the average daily range. If you put that in the first 5 minutes in the opening range, you'll find it very hard to get a target hit that is going to be meaningful. So anything above 20%, tend to ignore it. So it's either pre-market ranges. If you want to take the opening ranges, obviously, that's fine. But if you look at where you've got to get target-wise to actually make money on that break, so that is your opening range there. Which is basically 2R of the pre-market range. So to make a 1R return on that break, you've got to get down beyond ADR today. Yeah. So this is the reason these get filtered out when you've got these big opening ranges, because just to get a 1R return, which is obviously not going to be long-term profitable unless you've got a very high strike rate, which you won't with these, it's just not going to work. So you need a much bigger 1.5, 2R, which is going to take you way beyond 125 ADR today. So pre-market range or nothing really today. New lower session going in, new higher session on the Dow. I'm just going to bank half of that just because I'm up 150 on the morning. And I just want to lock. I'm just going to bank half of that as well. I just want to lock the profit in basically. So that puts me up for 450 so on the day with 2 runners. So see if we can get a big run on today. I'm not going to be that greedy. So I'm just going to go with a low of Thursday as a downside target, which is beyond ADR. Glad I got out of the Dow there, look. So that's that propulsion gap. That's the reason I exited there, because we're running straight into that propulsion move from today. So this is where they started selling off for 2 hours today. We've just come back straight into those sellers. So there you go, out of that one, 150. These are selling off really hard, so I'd be very surprised if the Dow could rally today when you've got all this momentum to the downside. So yeah, out the Dow, flat, 200 bank there and 200 running. So we'll see how far we can get. It's got a 2R trailer on it. So it'll either get stopped out on a 2R pullback or it will go to target. Job done. Nice and lively. Euro CAD's just hit ADR as well. So I'll run through all of these. I'm not going to go through all the pairs today. Why has that done that? got a bit of a data issue. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Every now and again, the dashboards reset to zeros on some currencies, not on all of them. And it's just like, it almost like it tries to go and grab the data and it goes, we ain't got any. It's something to do with my terminal, and I don't know what it is, but it's very intermittent as well. ADR, US dollar yen. Just hit that. More yen strength coming through. All these moves today can easily be undone when we get the news coming through. So let's have a quick look at where we are with these ADRs. So Aussie dollar CAD already played out. So your 5-minute reversal alert was earlier this morning. You will have had a reversal alert there. That would have been your entry at ADR today. It got invalidated with a second low, and then that's your second entry. So entries are there and there. And obviously that's in profit at the moment. Bias, obviously, with this one at the moment, Aussie dollar is a long bias based on interest rates still going, well, not coming down anyway, and inflation not going the way they want it to. We've got news coming out with the PMIs, which is going to move the US and the CAD at 3 o'clock. So just be careful if that news comes through positive for the US dollar. That'll be coming back down a bit further today. Aussie dollar Swiss. The Swiss franc really powering up. Look, way more strength coming into this Swiss. Not sure where all this strength is coming through, but it is. So yeah, you got ADR on that one as well. Aussie dollar Swiss coming down to 150 ADR. So watch these lows. So these two are weekly levels. That's a previous monthly. So obviously we're range bound on the Swiss and the yen pairs, and we have been for weeks now. So you got this 3-week low way beyond there, but that's last week's low and the 2-week low, and that is previous monthly as well. So you got good level of support there, which we've been holding up, which we're just approaching now. So potentially you're going to find range lows again down here. Failing that, you've got this weekly level, which is this area here, which is previous resistance and accumulation. So just beyond 225 ADR, you've got a second load of buyers, which is potentially going to come in on that. Odd Swiss 150. Just hit ADR on that one now. There's your 150 gone. So watch this area down here. Somewhere between sort of 175 ADR down into this propulsion gap, basically. So anywhere around this area, you've got multiple support levels and previous resistance levels coming up. So, I mean, it could just go at any time, obviously, but if it does get further down, if we get 200 ADR or so today, I'd be very tempted on that. Yeah, it's the most extended Swiss franc pair we've got today so far, but obviously it's not stopping. And neither is the NASDAQ. Dow, you've got an outside bar painted on the opening range on the Dow, so complete indecision. So we've had a bullish open, indecision straight afterwards. Now you're painting an inside bar on that 5-minute candle, so this one's frozen. NASDAQ off. NASDAQ's just coming down into ADR, and that is also the low from Friday. So watch this area for buyers. If we get through that level today, difficult to tell where that one's going to stop, really, isn't it? You've got this little low here from Thursday. Other than that, it's a low of last week, which is 175 ADR. There's nothing but clear air on that V-shaped recovery down to there. So if it does break this low and we get beyond that level, you're probably going to look at a flush down into there, but not today, probably tomorrow. However, obviously, if that news comes out bullish, for the US dollar this afternoon. There's a chance that could go further. Oh, this market's scared of something at the moment. We've got Swiss rallying, we've got yen rallying, we've got the stock market selling off. It's typical safe haven run behavior. Just looking at what yesterday's fear and greed was. Yeah, I would say we're certainly heading that way. There you go. So buyers stepping in at ADR and Friday low. So you've got limit orders will be triggering at Friday's low. So finding support there. I might just bank that there. So out at just two hours basically. So 467 on that one, 136 there. Done for the day. Right. So yeah, Aussie dollar Swiss, good looking opportunity for a long. Wait for a reversal. Wait for some sign of strength to come through. So wait for your reverse alert if you're using the position trader EA. Wait for some kind of MA cross to show strength. Aussie dollar yen still coming down. So big extension there. So you got your propulsion gap fill done. Second propulsion gap is there. Once that one's filled, there's nothing but clear air back up into those. So obviously this is just sideways at the moment. All the yen pairs are sideways. So this is a false breakout. But we'll wait and see what the US news does. The US news is probably going to move everything anyway. Yeah, there's so much upside. But obviously this is all part of that intervention move. So you can't really count any of this as normal orders they would want to come back and test because this is part of the intervention. So wouldn't really say that's particularly valid. But yeah, big extension. So even though, you know, there's no bullish or bearish bias on the yen because we don't know what they're doing with it at the moment, 175 ADR move is going to get profit taken at some point, isn't it? So if you get in on a reversal alert on 5 minute, watch for a second entry if we get down to 225 ADR, 200 to 225. So you can take first entry there. And if it does get down into this area here, after that, second entry somewhere down here, you're going to have an average price there with all of that as a target to the upside. So loads and loads of room on Aussie yen. Obviously, that is where you would aim for. Aussie US, 15 minutes. Also extended. So I got out of some Aussie US today. So I had 4 positions on this. Sorry, I had 3 positions on this. First entry was there, second entry in there, third entry there. I had another entry which was too close together, which I put a break-even stop on, which unfortunately just got taken out yesterday. But anyway, so that's a break-even. So I closed that one out today because we hit ADR. So obviously, whole purpose of ADR is to tell us when we're approaching the daily range. So we hit ADR. I got out of that position, did 50% drawdown control on the one lower down. So looking for a pullback now. So if we do pull back up into this area or this area, that's where my next entry is. So if we pull back up into there, we'll get another short back on again, take the profit again. But as you can see, my average is 150. So if the news comes out tomorrow on the Aussie dollar as negative, or we get positive news this afternoon on the US dollar, that's where my remaining target is. So that's average price between those two, target there. So if we get a 200 ADR move down today, I'm out. If it's tomorrow, that's fine. If it goes up, I'll take another entry, move the average up and wait for it to come down. Looking for it to correct that move, basically. So good looking opportunity for a long on that one. New Zealand dollar yen 175 ADR. This is not stopping this yen. Be careful trying to mean revert this. So steam train today. CAD Swiss, that's ADR still going. CAD yen 150. So yen still going. So watch these levels here. Looking for a push back up into there or up into there for a mean reversion if it's going to continue that way. Obviously, it could just go the other way. Think about these runs. If this is a safe haven run, we don't know if it is, but if it is, it will usually undo at least half of it, if not all of it. So safe haven runs are panic buys, basically. So market gets spooked, it liquidates stocks, it liquidates risky assets. So it liquidates things like the pound, the euro, there's other things, basically. Gold will quite often benefit from safe haven runs as well. But it puts it places which are safe, which is the Swiss and the yen. So you pull your money out of risky assets like stocks, you put it in the Swiss and the yen, you wait for everything to blow by, and then you get it out again. So these moves tend to undo. But obviously, if it's a safe haven run caused by fear of something like the Middle East kicking off, and then the Middle East kicks off, that move just gets stronger. So you have to be a little careful with these types of moves. Euro yen 150 ADR, still buying it up. So there's no news. Someone knows something. I haven't been watching the news. I should have BBC News up, shouldn't I, really, as well? So the S&P manufacturing PMIs have come out as a 47.9 on a 48, so they've ticked up. So there is a good chance that we're going to tick up as well on the ISM PMIs. So if you look at the ISM PMIs and sort of plot that chart there, yeah, and then you have a look at the ISM. Sorry, that is the ISM ones. And then if you have a look at the S&P version, yeah, they usually are very similar. So whatever happens to the S&P report, you quite often will find the ISM one is mimicking it slightly. So good chance that we might find a tick up, which means bullish moves on the US this afternoon. Pound yen 150. Oh, I can't keep up with this. So basically, everything is hitting ADR today. So lots of mean reversion opportunities. Pick whatever you fancy. Best ones obviously are going to be ones that support resistance. So if you find anything hitting a weekly level or a propulsion gap, which is formed out of an accumulation. So if we get down to 150 ADR and you get a reversal alert, beautiful. CAD yen. Might as well just go through all the pairs, haven't I? Everything's hitting ADR. So there's lots of levels. These yens, obviously, we've been sitting sideways for nearly a month on all the yen pairs. So quite difficult to, that's your 3-week high and low there. That's your 2-week high and low. And that is your weekly high and low, yeah? So we're not going anywhere for 3 weeks. So very difficult to pick a level, but obviously down here at 200 to 225 ADR, that is the propulsion move off the news there that they bought twice before they held it in this location. But that doesn't mean this isn't the start of the next leg down on yen strength. So just be a little careful. I'd much rather be sitting waiting for these to actually get down to a very good level than taking a chance on them, because we don't know what's causing this move at the moment. Swiss yen, that's already bounced off of 125. So beautiful reversal alert there and retest up into propulsion, and obviously they are now resetting propulsion. So you want to watch this area for an ad if you think it's long. If you think it's short, you would have been on that reversal alert. Euro odd 150 ADR and still going. Is this Australian dollar falling? Yeah. So we've got weakness in the Aussie and probably the New Zealand as well. Not so much in the New Zealand. The Aussie's falling though. Where did I get up to? So yeah, Euro odd 150 ADR again. Beautiful short here. That propulsion move was part of a 2-day accumulation break. They haven't tested it yet, so that'll be the first retest of that level. So likely this is a weekly low, so you're going to find limit orders at the low. So if you've got a weekly candlestick and we break out of that weekly candlestick, the market will be looking to resell the break, which is why you get a retest and break. That is the retest, the propulsion gap. It's the propulsion move that caused the break. So that's where you're likely to find sellers. So if you get 175 ADR today, that's a good short. Dow's broken short. We're holding on the NASDAQ. 7 minutes to the news still. So EuroCAD, that's just hit ADR. Loads of upside on this one still. That propulsion move there, we've tested that twice and held. So that would be a good level to start looking for shorts. A bit difficult to pick another level on this one. Kind of that level there where we've already broken and retested. But tricky. There's a lot of room to the upside on this. I would say probably not the best short of the day, that one. There's plenty of stuff which is way more extended than that. That's ADR to the downside. So you just hit ADR to the downside on that one. Swiss franc. Nothing particularly pretty or exciting there. Euro pound. So I'm in long on this already. I've got 4 positions on this one. This is my pain in the backside at the moment. We double topped this morning. I was looking for a break of that double top this morning to get out today. But obviously it's pushed down. So that's on its way now to ADR. So it does look like this low is holding. That's your reversal. Got a new high, low, higher high. We've now put a lower high in, and it looks like we're going for a higher low. So it's an expansion. And obviously we're looking for a pullback on that leg there. If you look at the 4-hour chart, it's more clear what's going on. So we're looking to push back up in either into that level out of this accumulation, or just continue this market structure to the downside somewhere in there. But either way, looking somewhere up there. My target at the moment is there, purely because this is a previous monthly level. So this is the old monthly high. We had that breakout and failure from that accumulation. So we just sat around in here, and then we broke out, failed. Now we're back in here again. So if we're going to put a head and shoulders pattern in, looking to form the right shoulder. So market structure short. Euro yen. Wow, there's loads today, isn't there? Just about to get a reversal alert on that one, on the hourly, although it's a massive one. It's 150 ADR reversal alert. You can't really trade that. So yeah, but again, not sure why this yen is powering up quite so much. So it's a good opportunity for a long. That would be a much better opportunity for a long. 175 to 200. Wait for this news to come out in 4 minutes, because this will either power up or devalue the yen potentially if we get some strength in the US. So if that yen strengthens on that US, we're going to get down to a load of limit orders at different levels on lots of different instruments. So potential for a lot of movement off of the back of that. Got out of some of this morning as well, Euro New Zealand. So had 4 positions on this one. I had 3 positions on this one. Took that one off there today because we came into this propulsion gap. So I was looking for a rejection at propulsion, which is exactly what we got. But the second half of it is on there. So I did some drawdown control on that position, knocked 50% of that off. So I've got 2 positions on there with a high there, just looking to get out in that propulsion gap on the rest of the position. So it'll be a nice profit. Obviously that's ADR today. We've had the 5-minute reversal alert already on that one, which hasn't drawn in properly for some reason. Where's the reversal alert gone? It's there. So that would have been the reversal alert. Not quite sure why it's not there, but anyway, that's short. So, but obviously I'm long on the longer term move. Euro US, that's not gone anywhere. So that's one of the few that hasn't hit today, which quite possibly hit in 3 minutes. Pound odd, huge move on the pound odd, back up into this propulsion. So we had that propulsion move out of the double top, retested, added more size, adding more size. So this is holding very, very nicely this level at the moment. There's no real bias on this one that you can speak about price action wise at the moment. Technically, Aussie is a long, pound is a short. So really, you want to be selling this, coming up to a beautiful area for sells right now. So this is a lovely short. So bias fundamentally is short. Technically, it's a double top rejection with propulsion add, which has been added to again and is rejecting again. And it's at 150 ADR. So worst case scenario, it does manage to get more than 150 ADR today. You're running straight into a bunch of sellers after a huge profit take move. So that's coming down at some point. If it does break out though, problem is you've got absolutely miles of space off of the back of that move. So there's literally, if this breaks this high, there's nothing to stop it. So you'd be in sort of 3 to 4 positions. But chances are it should really be going bearish. So there's a good looking short opportunity on that one there. Pound CAD, about to get news in a minute. So that one's not hit anyway. Pound Swiss, it's just hit ADR to the downside. A bit of a mess, this one. I'd much rather see it somewhere down in this area or down there, 150 ADR. That is a double daily low. So that is your low from yesterday and your low from Friday, which is what is being bought up at the moment. So about to get a reversal alert on that one though. Here comes the news. Nice end pattern reversal going in on the pound New Zealand short. Let's watch pound US dollar as the news comes out. Here it comes. So I'd say the number's bullish on the US, but not dramatically. Yeah, 47.2. So it's up, but not much. So we didn't get the forecast, but we did go in the right direction. So it is slightly bullish US, which will mean indices down. But they're already exhausted. So that's just hit that target. So that was where my target was. Look, so we gapped down on the news, would have got the target, but you know, gambling basically, trading around news. So would have been a gamble that paid off. But we are obviously very extended already. So we'll see if the market's got any more legs today, but there is potential for more downside movement on the indices, although you're not going to get more than another quarter of an ADR really out of the day. We'll see. So yeah, pounds, US dollar, I've flicked through a couple there. Pound yen extended to the downside, beautiful low we're coming into now. Again, all these yen pairs, we're coming out of these ranges which we've been in for 3 weeks. So it's either going to remain range bound or this yen movement is the start of a new leg which is going to break to the downside. So we won't find that out obviously until we start hitting some of these support levels. Pound New Zealand, beautiful M pattern reversal off the highs. 125, 100 ADR. So again, it's this accumulation area we're reaching resistance at. Pound should be bearish. New Zealand should be bearish as well, but really doesn't seem to be at the moment, does it? So lower time frames, you've already had the reversal on that one, but it didn't go anywhere. So that was your M pattern and we just kind of hovered. Has broken down now though. Pound US just looked at. That's not going anywhere, but probably bearish. Got out of this one on Monday. Euro odd 175 ADR. So that's rallying. Euro pound hopefully is rallying as well. Yeah, good. Yeah, so pound US dollar, I got out of that one on Monday, so out and flat on that one. That was a long one. So got into that 19th of the month. So one drawdown control done, aggressive drawdown control there, and exited the rest of the position there. So that's nice. In theory, we should be looking at a lot more drop on this, but we need some US dollar strength, and we may well have just got that. So if it breaks this weekly low, which we've double bottomed at today, that's likely to start flushing. So your market structure is obviously shifted bearish. That high there, 2-day accumulation, which broke, I would say is probably the downside target. Other than that, you got a little bit there, but the rest of it's kind of straight up. So once that level breaks, it's either going to hit this area here, which is a previous monthly level, or it will just continue to flush down, but that's going to depend on the news. Bear in mind, we got the 18th of this month is the US dollar interest rate change. So the market is going to be either buying into or selling the US dollar, more likely selling the US dollar ahead of that 18th of September. But it has been selling the US dollar for weeks. So this is probably the unraveling of this sell move, ready to add more sells in. But that's not until a couple of weeks' time. New Zealand dollar, nothing on that one. New Zealand Swiss, again, much more interested in 175 ADR, and then a push back up into propulsion or into that propulsion move, which is the break of that low. That's just extended. So this is the accumulation basically that we've tried to break out of and failed. So difficult to pick a level on that really, but wait for a reversal. You will have had reversal alerts on this already today, which will have been invalidated because it's just been coming down and down and down. So it's one of those where you can get, you know, it will hit ADR. You got a reversal alert there, immediately invalidated. You probably got one in here, immediately invalidated. You've had one in here somewhere, immediately invalidated. You had one there, stuck around for a bit on that one, now invalidated. Yeah, so it's one of those where, you know, this is why I say in the videos for the market reverse alerts indicator, it's not an indicator where you just stick it on a chart and you take every signal. It's an indicator that tells you that there's strength. Doesn't mean the strength is going to hold. It's one of those where you just get run over all day long if you try and take every reversal, which is why we use confluence of levels and ADRs and things like that. But yeah, push up into there would be the play on that one. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Got out some of this today as well. So I closed out that position and did a drawdown control with 30% of that position. Yesterday, I closed that one out and did a drawdown control on that position there. So this was an aggressive drawdown control position because it was position number 6. So I got out on that there with a nice profit, and I got out with some more today. These two were very close together, which happens occasionally. So I did some DD control on that. So I'm just looking for a quick push down, another half an ADR today, pushing down into this accumulation, filling that propulsion gap basically to get out of the rest of the position, and they'll be flat on that one. US dollar CAD, just getting back to break even on the final positions on that one. So had an two aggressive drawdown controls on this one as well. So that was the first entry up there. Second entry, we had another one there after that massive propulsion move, which was where Powell announced the interest rate drop. Aggressive one there which stopped out, another normal position and an aggressive position which you managed to do DD control with. Then got out of that one there, did some more DD control. So keeping the drawdown under control while making profits and just waiting for the pullback into here. So at the moment, my target on this, I've left it fairly high, very high. But what I will probably do is if we do get across the line today into 150, 175 ADR, I'll close that out. We've got a massive week of news this week. So ideally, I want to try and get flat if I can on all the Canadian positions for tomorrow, because obviously we've got the CAD rate tomorrow afternoon. So we are dropping, which in theory should be bearish CAD, but we're more interested in what is said at the press conference tomorrow. So trying to get myself flat on Canadian. So if that does get across the line today, I'll take that off. US dollar Swiss, not quite hit ADR on that one yet. So that shows you we've got some strength coming through on that US dollar. US dollar CAD 125 ADR, speak of the devil. Yeah, so we are still coming down against the US. So we've got some strength on the US dollar coming in at the moment. And you can see by the US dollar Swiss that the Swiss is actually running over the US dollar while the US dollar is powering up. So that shows you how strong that move is on the Swiss today. It's holding the US dollar at bay, even on positive news. So very, very strong move coming into the Swiss today. And the yen 125. So again, no idea where that's going at all. Not interested. I'm not playing with that one. So just about to get over the line on the US CAD. I've banked 1.7 today. Toying with the idea of just closing that out in a tiny loss. Just because I want to be out of it tomorrow. It's my only CAD exposure. And what I don't want is the Canadian dollar to suddenly power up for some reason tomorrow. And obviously we get some negative news on the US. So if you look at where this is obviously headed, we are expecting the US to remove their interest rates by 1/4 to 0.5%. So in theory, we should be seeing weakness on the US. So being long on the US at the moment, as I am, overexposed, is a risky position to be in. So if it wasn't at 125 ADR, I wouldn't be thinking about it, but it's obviously very extended, but we have had just good news coming in. So it's whether we can get another 1/4 of an ADR out of the US today just to get it up here. That's what I'm going to do. Is just going to move my TPs where I would want to get out 150 ADR. And then I'll let the market decide for me. Hopefully positive. Right, there you go. That was a lot of stuff, wasn't it? Busy, busy day today. 125 ADR on the Dow. We're just down at the previous day's low. So that is your Monday low. Friday low. Monday low. Yeah, Monday's low. And we've tapped into Tuesday's low as well. So you can see why I talk about limit orders at lows and highs. That is why you always get a reaction of some kind. How strong it is depends on the number of orders sitting at the level and the number of orders fighting that level. So, but yeah, real big sell-off again today. So indices following the same route. Look at the DAX, 150 ADR on the DAX, 125 on the FTSE. So that's still selling off. Properly selling off. Big moves today on all the indices. Left a lot of money on the table today, but if only we knew. Afternoon, Neo. Selling some stuff against the Aussie, Euro, or Pound, perhaps? Yeah, both of those are good. It's a good level to be selling from. So interest rate change on the euro is the week after next. Sorry, it's next week. It's next Thursday is our euro rate. So it's still 50-50 as to whether or not they're not going to put it up, but whether or not they're going to freeze or drop the rate next week. So if they drop the rate, obviously that'll be bearish. We know the Australian dollar is bullish because they're definitely not dropping their rates. So yeah, I mean, that should continue. So that's a good looking spot to sell from right now as well on that euro odd. 175 ADR to the upside into previous propulsion break. Kind of like that, to be honest. Aussie dollar yen 225 ADR. New Zealand yen 200. Gapped down as well there, look. So Aussie dollar weaker than the New Zealand today. Aussie US approaching break even on that one as well. So that euro odd, I kind of like the look of that. It kind of hedges me on the euro. That's the problem. Wow, look at that gap. Market gapping on the PMIs. Still light liquidity at the minute. We're still in summer trading. So yeah, pound odd also good. 150 ADR Aussie US. So US still powering up. So yeah, again, this is a really good spot because you've got that little backup there. Obviously, if you get in here or on a reversal here, that's only half an ADR away. I would probably want to take a second position there anyway, even though it's a little bit closer together than I would normally like, because you're likely to get a reaction at that point. But like I said, if that does break, you're going to break and retest. So if you don't catch that retest and get out, you're coming like 2 to 3 ADR from that high. So it's 220 pips, so 2 ADR. But fundamentally, it should be a short. Both look good. Afternoon, Peter. I noticed you keep the potential profit on the trade manager dash off. Potential profit. Oh, the yeah, because I don't use a stop loss, so you can show how much money you'd make if you hit your targets and how much money you would stop out on. I don't use it. It's just relevant to me. Doesn't matter what I would make. I'm not interested in money. Sounds a weird thing to say, doesn't it? But I'm not interested in money. I'm interested in where price is going. I'm interested in price getting to where I want price to get to. What the money is when it gets there is irrelevant. I'm looking at movement. I'm not looking at I need to make X or I want to make Y. I'm looking at where's price headed. So I'll be looking, if I go short to get out down here, what that's worth is irrelevant. If it's worth 1% or 5%, it doesn't make any difference. I'm expecting the market to react at that level, so therefore I'm getting out at that level. I'm not going to not get out because it's not enough money. I'm going to get out when I think it's going to switch. So got a double top market structure short. It's just broken that high. Yeah, if we're starting to reverse now, I would be buying it here and looking to get out here. If I wanted 5% or something and it was above that level, I still get out there. It doesn't matter. And also, I don't want to see what my potential earnings are, because if you have a figure that says your TP, if you hit all your TPs, is going to be 12K, yeah, and you close all those positions out at 6K, that's depressing. But if you close all your positions out at 6K and everything reverses, you'll soon forget that number. It doesn't mean anything. You should be looking at where we're going, not what we're making, which is why I've never had it turned on, I don't think. Just not interested in it. Is this the H4M15 account? Yeah. Guess I took profit early last month. Don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've got positions on, all these positions are on from last month. So, you know, we get paydays when the market moves in our direction, and a lot of stuff's moving in my direction. But I've been sitting in drawdown for the last week or so. Still been banking bits and pieces, but, you know, this is why I don't publish my results. I don't publish EA signals. Yeah, where I get out and where you get out will make a massive difference to what your earnings are. I will get out here. Other people are at Alton Towers that day and didn't get out until the following day. Good for you. You didn't make more money than me because you're a better trader. You made more money than me because you went to Alton Towers and weren't watching the charts. It's got nothing to do with anything, but you get out when you see an exit, like I just said. If I target that to the downside on a short, yeah, and it gets to here, bounces, I might decide to exit that position. I might decide to break even it. I might decide to do whatever. But if it then starts to do that and I'm not around this day and it ends up doing 200 ADR, that's where I'll get out. Yeah, you get out watching the charts. I've said this many times before, haven't I? If you are plagued with the out too soon disease, I mean, that exit there, I think was a bloody good exit. Yeah, my target, I know for a fact, was here. Yeah, but the reason I got out there should be clear. We came down, we hit a support, we bounced. We came down, we hit a support, we bounced. It took me back into drawdown and then came down and accumulated at that spot. I'm out because the buyers are stepping in here. That's why I'm out. I'm not going to hold it just for that little bit. I'm getting out because I'm seeing a load of buyers. It was the wrong thing to do. But if it was the right thing to do, I'd have been going, how good am I at exits? That was the worst exit in the world. I could have made 3 times as much money. But if you want to smooth price out, go up a time frame. Yeah. Why did I get out on a down candle? Because I wasn't looking at a 4-hour chart. Simple as that. If I'd been looking at a 4-hour chart, I wouldn't have been out until that candle. But I was. Unfortunately, that's when I got in. Yeah, it's a million reasons to get in and a million reasons to get out. Everybody's going to do it totally different. Yeah, everybody's going to get a different result because everybody's going to be doing it different. Unless you're using the EA with an exact setting that goes, I am going to take X, Y, and Z, then there's nothing wrong with that. But X, Y, and Z never lines up with price points, does it? If you're getting short here and you're going to take 3/4 of an ADR, you're getting out there. If you look at the chart and look at the market structure and the double top, you'd be crazy to get out there because it's obviously going to come down and test that level and probably going to come and test this level. I don't know. This market reversal alert here might hold and it might buy out of this propulsion gap. Some people are probably long on this now from here and still in it. It's, you know, everybody's going to get a different result, aren't they? Afternoon, Jed. Right. So be careful with these indices today. There's market sell-off going on at the moment. I'm not quite sure why. Seems to have stalled out on the news though. So there we go. Target about to hit on US dollar CAD. This doesn't look like a lot of money, but this is just the remain of this position. It's not all of this profit from down here is kind of, this is just the final dregs that are coming off. I'm just going to close it now actually because I just want to be flat on the CAD for tomorrow. So I'm not going to get greedy. It might well come up and hit 175, but I'm not going to risk sitting down here at close today and then being stuck down here when the Canadian dollar news comes out and tanks it. Or pumps it. I don't know. I don't know which way it's going, do I? But what I do know is I don't want CAD exposure on until tomorrow. Well, after tomorrow, really. New Zealand, US, I'm going to get out of hopefully today as well. So if we break today's low, we're going to flush down into this propulsion move somewhere. We'll find some support down there somewhere. So good target today. Quarter of an ADR, be nice. That would just top up. It's just the final two positions on that one. Aussie US just gone into profit as well on the final part of that. And then I need to get some exposure on. So Aussie dollar tomorrow. Obviously, we've got GDP, and then we've got the CAD rate announcement. We've also got JOLTS tomorrow afternoon ahead of the Bank of Canada press conference. So I'll be on tomorrow morning and obviously do a little look ahead at all this lot. But it's going to be a busy one off the back of that. If they drop that rate again, which will be the second time running, which I think apart from the Swiss, the Canadians will be... Oh, no, they didn't drop last time. They didn't drop last time, did they? Why is that not saying minus 0.25? Something not right there, isn't there? I could have sworn they dropped last time. Yeah, we got the forecast. So, yeah, the Canadians, obviously, we had that drop in June. And then we dropped again in July. So this is now August. So this will be the first lot to be 3 in a row dropping interest rates. Inflation figures, obviously, with Canada going in the right direction. They are still going down. We're at 2.5, so we're only 0.5% away from target. The next CPI number will probably be a bounce, which means there is potential for them to freeze the interest rates. But as the US is going to drop interest rates, it will put the pressure on them to drop further as well. So the Canadians should really be weakening. Again, another reason I want to be out. Over the next sort of month, we should be seeing more sustained weakness coming into that CAD with the US dollar as well. Aussie dollar CAD 125 ADR. Just tapped into 125. So we've just taken the low of the day. So we've got this level here, which we're tapping into. So that's where we hit. That's where we broke. So we're now buying up this level down here. Again, Canadian dollar dropping. Aussies are not dropping. So the bias on this one is long. So there's a good looking support buy there. If you do want to take something ahead of the news tomorrow, that is probably one of the better to take. So if you're getting in here, there's a good chance we're going to come and just retest the highs, probably off the back of the Canadian drop. We've got the Aussies coming out tomorrow morning with news as well. So if tomorrow morning we get positive Aussie dollar GDP figures, which are forecast, and we drop the Canadian interest rate, which is forecast, the bias is going to be long Aussie, short CAD. So Aussie CAD is what you want to be trading tomorrow. and that's a good looking long at 125 ADR. You got backup coming if we do break that low here, and you got this area here, which is that propulsion move at 225 ADR. So if the first one doesn't work out, you've got potentially 3 positions there, and then you're going to come back into all this chop. But the bias is certainly long, so good opportunity for tomorrow. That's all I've got for you today. So nice profitable day on the indices again. Indices are really coming to life at the moment. At the open, the rest of the session, most of the time, apart from today, is quiet. But opens are really volatile at the moment, really good. Lots of life coming back in. Hopefully this is everybody coming back from summer trading and we're going to get some decent movement. But yeah, very nice profits over the last week, especially on the indices at the breaks. Tomorrow, obviously, just bear in mind Australian dollar in the morning. I'll be on at 8 tomorrow morning. And obviously we will trade the DAX and the FTSE and see if we can get some more breaks on that. There shouldn't be any difficulties tomorrow morning. We've got no news coming until 2:45, which is the Canadian rate. So European markets should have enough movement tomorrow ahead of that news. So we'll see where we go in the morning. But yeah, I'll be trading the indices as usual in the morning. So still up in that greed area at the minute. Crypto's scared, but the rest of the market not. I would say today is probably shifting that needle. So it'll be interesting to see if they sustain these moves on the yen and the Swiss today. I get a feeling this is just piling into these ahead of interest rates and things that we got coming up this week. I haven't seen anything that would say this is any kind of safe haven run, but it certainly looks like it when you get the Swiss and the yen moving at the same time. But there's nothing that I can see newsworthy anyway that's caused it. So, all right. So anything else you need, let me know. I will be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Same time as usual on Thursday. We'll trade the US session, 2:15. If you need anything, I'll be in Telegram or Discord. And other than that, have a good day, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.